to you from me 2,000 years from now. It's Eulalia, and this morning I'm going to be doing a Teach to Learn on the justification of lying. We're going to be going into Kant, Immanuel Kant, the philosopher, and John Stuart Mill. I apologize for any brattiness. I just recorded this whole video and I did it wrong. So this is the third time. Let's do it. Is lying justified? Do you lie? Are you a liar? This is the question I want you to ask yourself as we go into this video. Now let's set the stage. You are at your home. Your buddy's in the house. There's someone at the door. You go up to the door and you see that it's a murderer. When you open the door, he asks, "Is your friend home?" What do you do? If you ask Immanuel Kant, the answer is easy. You tell the truth no matter what. And this goes into Kant's absolute morality. Okay, if you're studying philosophy or you're trying to retain information like I do, I like memory aids. So a memory aid for Kant is a robot. Kant strictly deals in logic, and his framework and the foundation of his philosophy is what is called the categorical imperative. I thought I was going to forget. And another memory aid, categorical imperative, is CI. Ask yourself, can it be a universal law? And this will help you get into the framework of what it means to be a Kantian. Serving Kant. Okay, to Kant, if you allow lying, if there are exceptions for lying, what kind of society would we live in if everyone did this? We would create a society of distrust. In Kant's world, morality is black and white, and he says this because morality is not about consequence, it's about principle. And we're going to flip into his adversary here, who is John Stuart Mill, a utilitarian. The memory aid for Mill is math of morality. This is where Mill stood. What can you do that would impact the greater good? Cost-benefit analysis is another great way to think of Mill. To him, it's simple. You save your friend and you tell the murderer to kick rocks. Utilitarianism is a consequentialist theory in general. The goal of morality to a utilitarian is to create maximum happiness and minimize suffering. And that is what Mill calls the greatest happiness principle. Think of this as like a scoreboard, because like I said, we're talking about math here. You're going to get plus 100 points for saving the life of your friend, but you're going to get negative 10 for lying. From a utilitarian perspective, lying to the murderer is obviously justified. And where I got, the inspiration from this video is Michael Sandel, Daddy Yaddy, who was a professor at Harvard. His series of Justice is on YouTube. Look at me getting all hyped up. It's fantastic. And one of the arguments against Kant is going into rationality, which is categorical moral reasoning, which is the opposite of categorical imperative. But they're saying that, well, what you could do is a misleading truth. What would Kant think of that? You could look at the door, see the murderer, tell your friend, "Hey, get out of here. He's going to ask if you're here." So when the door is opened and he asks, "Hey, is your buddy home?" you can say no, because you know that he's already walked out the door. And this goes into semantics. And the real world example here is when Mr. President Bill Clinton says famously, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Monica Lewinsky." Now, technically he's telling the truth. From his standard of sexual relations, he did not have them. And to a utilitarian, okay, well, if that misleading truth disrupts chaos in society, which at that time was very much occurring, then it is justified. Where a Kantian would say, no, we can't allow our politicians to lie to us, no matter what. Let's go to personal thoughts because I gotta wrap this up. This was like a really fun one for me because initially, like I've already been on a journey of trying to analyze my own philosophy, and I like Kant a lot because when I was studying, he has this idea of inherent morality that yes, we are all born with, but it has to be tamed, and you have to be intentional of how you are moral, and this is dependent on your society, which I agree with, and on your sense of duty. But I myself would lie to the murderer. Actually, I think I would do a misleading truth. And I think that, you know, the example of Bill Clinton is so delicious because, you know, of course, we should never trust a government fully, but we also should understand that lies are told to us like for the greater good. And this is challenging myself because when I've learned of utilitarianism, I'm such an individualist that I have been like thrown off. And really, I go back and forth on, does the end justify the means? And I use this phrase a lot whenever I don't want to do something, you know, whether it's this or read or write, you know, if I don't feel like it, I tell myself like, well, you have to do it because it's for the greater good of my goal. But on the Kantian side of things, I agree that to me, like, there's never really a reason to lie. I just think reality is what it is, and this is very stoic of me, but you should be able to tell somebody what's up, and at that point it's kind of off your hands because it's up to them to rationalize their reality, and it's not up to you to be concerned of their feelings regarding that. Your duty is to yourself, which is to be an honorable woman or person or man. If you're a man, what's up? So anyway, this was fun. I really enjoyed spending the morning together. As you can see, it's just like absolutely stunning here, and I'm glad it's Friday. I look forward to digesting more, and my next video is going to be on put on your big boy pants because it's meta theory. All right, to you from me.